Over 60 million Christians face beatings, kidnapping, rape, and murder, and they're denied education and employment just because they are believers. Christian Freedom International was established in 1998 by an American board led by then U.S. Ambassador to Switzerland, Faith Whittlesey. CFI addresses practical and spiritual needs. We provide medical aid, Bibles, educational and microenterprise opportunities, and advocacy. Our president, Jim Jacobson, has briefed congressmen, White House, and UN officials about the growing persecution of Christians worldwide. CFI has established schools, medical clinics, and orphanages so that refugee children can develop the training and leadership skills they need to lead their own people. Changing political situations often require adjusting priorities. CFI evaluates needs, identifies local people to lead programs, helps Christians become self-sufficient, and reports to the American public so that they may pray and financially support worthy projects that are needed. In the Middle East, life is extremely difficult for minority populations, especially for Christians. As one Coptic Christian lady reported, "We're the new Jews." CFI stands firmly in support of our Jewish brothers and sisters in Israel, where the threat of extinction remains high. Christians in Pakistan are enslaved in brickyards because they can't repay loans they are required to accept. They suffer a lifetime of hard labor in hot, dirty, dangerous conditions. Most never regain their freedom. CFI provides food, medicine, and MP3 players with Bible recordings for those who can't read. CFI's microenterprise projects provide a market for handmade crafts and clothing through our online and retail store in the U.S. CFI has a hand-up, not a handout perspective. We look for areas of greatest persecution and work with Indigenous leaders to develop programs to meet the needs they've identified. We provide blankets for blind and disabled people in Bangladesh during the winter, MP3 Bible sticks to brickyard slaves in Pakistan, medical care for internally displaced people who've been driven out of their homes and into the jungles of Burma by the military junta. Our CFI Bible School trains local ethnic students to minister to their own people. Prospective students are readily available in Burma, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and in other nations where persecution is rampant. CFI's microenterprise program allows persecuted Christians dignified work to provide for their families. CFI is effective because we're a small organization with a highly dedicated staff, energetic leadership from our president, Jim Jacobson, and an active board of directors. We also provide people with practical ways to help oppressed Christians live in dignity and freedom. Solutions include letting our supporters know about critical situations through email blasts, newsletters, and radio broadcasts, advocating for the voiceless in the halls of Congress, and taking action to help those in need. Jim Jacobson has been a White House and Senate staffer, and that has equipped him to navigate political waters. In 2006, CFI led the effort for the U.S. to welcome Karen and Karenni immigrants who have lived in refugee camps for decades. CFI has provided first-hand information to key government leaders, and that's resulted in more than 70,000 refugees moving to the U.S., Canada, Australia, and Scandinavia. We purchased the Freedom Inn, located in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, for Karen refugee families to live. They're not dependent on government subsidies. They have jobs, are learning English, and living in freedom. This model could be replicated across America, saving taxpayers millions of dollars while providing a new life with dignity for refugees who otherwise would come here only to be placed in ghettos where jobs are few and crime is high. Local churches or private individuals could replicate the Freedom Inn model for a fraction of the cost of government-sponsored facilities. CFI markets handmade crafts, clothing, and jewelry created by persecuted Christians in our online and retail store. This micro-enterprise program gives persecuted Christians an income to sustain their families and churches. CFI continually reevaluates projects to determine if they meet persecuted Christians' needs. When conditions change, we modify our programs accordingly. CFI's board is actively involved examining individual projects firsthand, finding new partners, and developing multi-year plans. The Freedom Inn stands as a model for non-governmental refugee resettlement. CFI's retail and online store for the Micro-Enterprise Program tripled its revenue in 2011 and was recommended as the top place to shop by the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. CFI is financially transparent. The breakdown of expenses, annual tax report, and audit are publicly available and posted on our website at www.christianfreedom.org. We're a member of the ECFA, the Better Business Bureau, and Independent Charities of America. 87% of our funds go for program activity. Many people may not realize that CFI has adopted a virtual staff structure. It's not only possible, but effective with the use of modern-day technology. Our staff is located in Thailand, Michigan, Virginia, and Delaware, along with Indigenous staff and volunteers in many countries. The staff is connected on a regular basis through interactive communications. Board members are active and have visited the projects they oversee. Our advocacy work in Washington, D.C. is ongoing through former congressional and White House staffers. CFI does not accept or solicit any federal funding. CFI has resettled thousands of Karen and Karenni refugees in the U.S. We were honored that First Lady Laura Bush accepted the CFI Freedom Award in 2008. We have the only Bible school established for Karenni people and a vocational school in Thailand established for the Karen people, from which hundreds of students have graduated and resettled in the U.S. Thousands of Bibles are distributed in Burma, China, Pakistan, Vietnam, Laos, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Also, we alert people in the U.S. and Canada about the plight of persecuted Christians worldwide. We've established and support orphanages, schools, and medical clinics in Burma. We care for blind and disabled people in the streets of Dhaka, Bangladesh. Egyptian and Iraqi Christians are being supported during political upheavals. We meet with high-level U.S. government officials and have arranged trips overseas for congressional staffers to see firsthand what is happening with persecuted Christians. Jesus came to free the oppressed, yet he said, "Blessed are those persecuted for his sake." We're to remember those who are imprisoned for their faith as if we were chained with them. Powerful governments are committing atrocities against Christians. The challenge can be overwhelming and never-ending. CFI's mission is to help persecuted Christians experience God's love and freedom. As the persecution of Christians grows worldwide and expenses for existing programs increase, our ability to meet the needs is limited by our financial resources. Crisis after crisis is presented to CFI, yet our efforts are inadequate for the growing need. Fundraising and finding willing partners is our ever-present challenge. CFI found an affordable location in Upper Michigan where we established our headquarters, replacing an adult bookstore that the community had wanted to remove for decades. Another challenge is finding intrepid local directors and courageous political leaders to support the persecuted Christians in some of the most dangerous places on earth. CFI would fund our new Bible school in Mae Sot, Thailand, and partner with an established seminary to provide curriculum and support for our Bible schools. We would like to expand our medical aid in the jungles of Burma. CFI could provide desperately needed support for persecuted Coptic Christians in Egypt and other Middle Eastern countries. CFI would expand our distribution of audio Bibles. We'd replicate the Freedom House model to assist more refugee families, and franchise the CFI Handcraft Store to sell items made by persecuted Christians. CFI would like to reach a broader audience through social media. And finally, we would increase our network and identify leaders who are dedicated to our cause worldwide. We could provide emergency aid for local staff when they experience threats for their dangerous work, travel expenses for eyewitnesses to testify at congressional hearings or similar opportunities as they arise. We could offer grants to leaders in countries where we work to purchase computers to make their work more efficient and effective. Americans are woefully unaware of the growing persecution of Christians. We would alert church members through Bible studies, bulletin announcements, sermons, social media, and informed advocates who are armed with up-to-date information about persecuted Christians worldwide. We'd produce creative videos that portray current needs of persecuted Christians and motivate people to pray, advocate, and give.